Please welcome our hosts for tonight's 12th Annual WWAAC Awards. Anchor and reporter for Channel 2 Action News and former CNN anchor, Sophia Choi. And TV and radio host for Viet Song Media, Lang Lu.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 12th Annual Who's Who and Asian American Communities Awards, the WWAAC Awards. I was privileged to be a part of this last year, and I was so thrilled that I was invited back. We are so excited because tonight we will recognize some of the most accomplished and distinguished Asian Americans in the U.S.
We are here to honor outstanding Asian American from the entire spectrum of industry, services, and profession, to celebrate our pioneer who struggle to persevere, to pave the way for the up-and-coming generation. All of our honorees share a common bond in that they have risen to the very top of their industry, their field, and serve as role models and pioneer for the Asian community.
The WWAAC Awards are the only Asian awards program televised across the country, thanks to our partners, Comcast, NBC, Universal. We are also live streaming tonight our WWAAC website and Facebook, so please have a number of ways to check out our WWAAC Awards, and please do that.
Ladies and gentlemen, there are many Who's Who organizations around, but the WWAAC Foundation is unlike the others. One example, you cannot buy your way into the foundation. All of the honorees must meet strict standards to receive the WWAAC and Partner Awards.
Now at this time, we'd like to introduce the belle of the ball, Sachi Koto, who founded the WWAAC Awards back in 2006. Sachi.
Well, I'm thrilled to have Sophia and Lang with us tonight. We really appreciate their talent and incredible work on the air, and you both are the pride of the Asian community. Thank you. I'm so excited that we're celebrating our 12th anniversary of the WWAAC Awards tonight. Asian Americans represent only about 6% of the population of America, 19.4 million. But even though our population size seems small, please do not underestimate us. We hope to share things with you tonight to bring about an awareness and leave you saying, wow, I never knew that. A century ago, most Asian Americans were low-skilled, low-wage laborers, crowded into ethnic enclaves and often targets of official discrimination. But today, we represent the highest income, best educated, and Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders remain the fastest growing populations in the U.S. However, on the flip side, Asian Americans represent less than 3% of those who serve on boards of Fortune 500 companies. Asian Americans account for only 1.4% of Fortune 500 CEOs and 1.9% of corporate officers overall. And that's why so many of our honorees tonight and in the past are so very special, so very elite, because they have managed to rise to that 3% level. A special thank you to our generous sponsors and community leaders for your support of the Asian American community and for participating in this celebration tonight. We hope you are inspired with our honorees and dazzled with our performers. Thank you so much for being with us here tonight. Thank you.
Now, at this time, I'd like to introduce Chloe Jung, a senior analyst in the Information Technology Group at Chick-fil-A. Chloe also serves on the WWAAC Corporate Advisory Board. She's going to give us some insight and background about Asian Americans. Please welcome Chloe Jung.
The WWAAC Awards believe that recognition for Asian Americans is long overdue, considering the extensive history that they have had throughout the entire 50 states for more than 150 years. Tonight, we will look at the contributions and achievements that Asian Americans have made in this country through a video entitled The Making of Asian America, written by Dr. Jung-Ha Kim of Georgia State University, and the music in the video was composed by 2008 WWAAC honoree Greg Chen. Let's take a look.
Once called the Exotic Orientals, the U.S. Census Bureau currently uses the terms Asian, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander as racial categories to include more than 100 different ethnic and linguistic groups. Asian American ancestries can be traced to Northeast and Southeast Asia, South Asia, the Pacific Islands, and the Middle East. People of Asian and Pacific Islander descent make up more than 1/2 of the world's population. They share no common Asian language and no one major religious tradition. The Chinese represent the first large-scale migration to America, which took place in the mid-1800s to work in the sugar plantations in Hawaii, and in the late 1800s in California to build America's first transcontinental railroad. Filipinos and Chinese were the first Asians to settle in the U.S. back in the 1700s, and some participated in the Civil War as members of both the Confederate and Union armies. By the turn of the 20th century, Japanese Americans established sizable farms in California, and Korean Americans discovered a genetic mutation of peaches and plums to mass-produce nectarines in the 1920s. But Asian American contributions were not limited to innovations and successes in the agricultural industry and labor force. They also championed human rights and civil rights in the U.S. much earlier than the 1960s civil rights movement. In 1890, Chinese Americans successfully challenged a San Francisco ordinance that required them to move outside the city entirely or live in areas believed to be prejudicial to public health. The ordinance was declared unconstitutional and marked one of the first efforts to desegregate residential patterns in the U.S. Later, with the 1965 Immigration Act and the fall of Saigon in 1975, the number of Asian-born Americans in the U.S. more than tripled in the 1970s and nearly doubled in the 1980s. Compared to the average U.S. adult, Asian Americans are well educated, earn a higher income, and spend heavily on a range of products and services. The median household income of Asian Americans is 32% higher than the total U.S. population, with incomes of $75,000 or more. A little less than half of all Asian Americans have a bachelor's degree or higher, compared to 25% of the U.S. population. We pause to remember and celebrate their historic contributions to America. With all their diversity of talents and dreams, Asian Americans celebrate making their home here in the United States a better place for all who seek liberty, freedom, and justice.
Each year, we have recognized prominent Asian Americans who've been our role models for success. Now, at this time, I'd like to introduce Jackie Chen, who has more on our former honorees.
Over Over the past 12 years, the WWAAC Awards have selected and honored 147 distinguished Asian Americans from across the nation. Many great contributors to our community and to the nation, and who are distinguished figures in their own professions. We have also recognized UPS, McDonald's, Comcast NBC Universal, and State Farm Insurance as our WWAAC corporate champions. Now let's take a quick look at some of the outstanding Asian Americans who have been recognized across the nation with the WWAAC and Partner Awards over the past years, beginning in 2006.
Ladies and gentlemen, as you can totally imagine, it takes significant funding and support to produce the WWAAC Awards without our generous sponsor. It would be impossible. UPS has been our major sponsor since our inception back in 2006. With us tonight, we are very honored and fortunate to have UPS Joseph Girissi, the UPS Vice President of US Marketing. Joe was formerly the Vice President of Corporate Marketing Strategy and New Product Concept. He was based in Singapore as head of UPS Asia Pacific Region Marketing Group. Please give a warm welcome to Mr. Joseph Gurissi.
Good evening, and thank you for the warm remarks. UPS is proud to be a major sponsor of the WWAAC Award since its inception in 2006. Funding from the UPS Foundation supports our nonprofit partners like WWAAC with building volunteer capacity, creating more effective nonprofit organizations, leadership development, and technology enhancements through support of our 4 focused areas: diversity and inclusion, community safety, which includes humanitarian relief and resilience, environmental sustainability, and volunteerism. UPS founder Jim Casey established the UPS Foundation in 1951 with a mission to help build safer, stronger, more resilient communities around the world. And that's exactly what we've been doing over the past 66 years. At UPS, giving means more than just writing a check. It means combining our employees' skills, passion, time, with our logistics expertise in transportation, assets, and charitable donations to make a measurable difference in our communities. In 2016, UPS and our employees invested nearly 2.7 million volunteer hours and more than $116 million in our global communities. We are very proud of the UPS employees who have been selected as WWAAC honorees over the last decade. Previous UPS honorees include Ron Chang, Ken Lee, Gloria Enriquez, and Sean Sack-Prosset. UPS was also selected as WWAAC Corporate Champion in 2009. United Problem Solvers celebrates both the quality and the quantity of our people, the expertise, passion, and ability of 440,000 UPSers globally, drawing on UPS's processes, technology, and network, gives us a competitive advantage and sets us apart. Now I would like to show you how we solve for today's customer expectations. Let's take a look.
Je m'appelle Dr Buxenje Jean-Pierre, je suis le chef des services de néonatologie. Au cas d'une hémorragie du post-partum, on aura besoin de transfuser la maman qui saigne ou qui a saigné. Et cette transfusion doit être faite en urgence. Quelque chose a été fait par les médecins ou une autre personne soignante, la maman peut décéder.
When you talk about surgery, when you talk about maternity, when you talk about injury, all those phenomena in our lives need and require blood.
So the challenge in Rwanda is, although they have good coverage, it is a hilly country, the infrastructure, most of the roads are not paved, and so during rainy season it's difficult to pass.
Imagine a situation where a mother needs blood. She's been hemorrhaging and she needs blood in the next 25 minutes, otherwise it will be too late. Tell me, what other technology today can you use to deliver that product?
We believe that the drone technology is critical, particularly in circumstances where a life is at stake, where every minute counts, and you can't get through a road because it's impassable.
Our ultimate goal in Rwanda is to put every one of Rwanda's about 11 million citizens within 15 to 30 minutes delivery of any essential medical product they could need.
we are not only contemplating blood servicing, we are also contemplating vaccine distribution, we are also contemplating any other good which can be transported by these drones.
One of the things that we want to really emphasize is that it's now not just possible but affordable to provide that instant, reliable access to medical products, even for people in rural and hard-to-reach areas.
The government of Rwanda is a visionary in taking this extra step, and now we're going to help save millions of lives throughout the world as we expand this idea.
Our first Asian entertainment for the evening is being performed by the Taiwanese School of Atlanta Drummers.
The school provides social, cultural, and educational services as well as increased public understanding of Taiwanese cultural heritage. They teach Taiwanese opera, drum, dance, and a lot more.
Yeah, with their precision and rhythm, the taiko drummers have been mesmerizing audiences with their powerful rhythmic and booming sounds.
Ladies and gentlemen, the drummers this evening are sure to get your heart pounding as you see and hear their performance, culminating years of hard work and mental and physical discipline. Please welcome the Taiwanese School of Atlanta Drummers.
Coming up in our next segment, we'll meet our first honoree for this evening. She came to the U.S. with only 2 hours of English lessons, but now she's going after her Ph.D. But first, a look at some of the top companies and organizations that believe in the Asian community and support the WWAAC Leaders and Legends Awards. This portion of the WWAAC Awards has been sponsored by UPS.
Zoe, prom's here. Now, about the dress. We got you, girl. Maybe? Nope. No. No. Yes. Jill's got the same one.
Sorry.
No. Send them all back. Yes. This one's a keeper. UPS makes returning as easy as buying. How we're helping companies solve for the needs of customers like Zoe.
Every operation, if you look around the world today, where the American people have committed soldiers, combat operations, peacekeeping, peace support missions, guerrilla insurgency kind of fights, humanitarian relief, humanitarian support, all those operations, their mission success depend on boots on the ground.
Georgia Dental Care and Georgia Dental Implant Center are located in Midtown Atlanta, Ackworth, Noonan, and Norcross. The office in Midtown has everything patients need for dental implants in one location. You can have digital x-rays, panoramic x-rays, and CT scans, family and cosmetic dentistry too. Dr. Steve Hahn is specially trained as a prosthodontist to take on even the most challenging implant cases. For more information, go to georgiadic.com.
WWAAC Awards title sponsors: Comcast NBC Universal, Encyclomedia. WWAAC Diamond sponsors: UPS, General Motors, Gentle Dental Care and Georgia Dental Implant Center. WWAAC Platinum sponsors: Jackson Leadership Strategies, Chick-fil-A. WWAAC Gold sponsors: Lenox Square, a Simon Mall. WWAAC Silver sponsor: John Iwata Foundation and the IBM Corporation. WWAAC Bronze sponsors: Delta Airlines, the Home Depot. WWAAC Partner sponsors: API-ASF, Asian and Pacific Islander American Scholarship Fund, PPOM, Pan-Pacific American Leaders and Mentors, Pro Video Talent, Pulse One Media, Residence Inn by Marriott, Atlanta Downtown, the Rialto Center for the Arts at Georgia State University. This portion of the 12th Annual WWAAC Awards is presented by the API-ASF, the Asian and Pacific Islander American Scholarship Fund.
Our first WWAAC partner this evening is the Asian and Pacific Islander American Scholarship Fund, also known as the API-ASF. Now, this organization is making a positive difference in Asian communities by creating opportunities for students to access, complete, and succeed after post-secondary education. By supporting thousands of scholars through their educational journey, the API-ASF is developing future leaders who will excel in their careers, serve as role models in their communities, and ultimately contribute to a more vibrant America. Let's take a look at how the API-ASF is impacting scholars and communities.
The Asian Pacific Island American Scholarship Fund provides access as well as resources to cultivate the next generation of leaders and students in the United States, to allow them to become academically prepared, professionally prepared, as well as personally prepared for the future.
The scholarship really helped me to achieve my dreams. It really helped me to explore the possibilities that I'm interested in without having to worry about the afterthought of graduation, which is students being inundated with debt and loans.
Scholarship means a lot because it'll help my parents financially, it'll take the burden out of them. I'll be able to pursue my dream as a nurse and help other people.
What this means for our country is all of our scholars becomes the next generation of leaders in our nation today. It's about driving a vibrant America.
At this time, I would like to introduce Neil Horikoshi, the President and Executive Director of the API-ASF. Previously, Neil has a distinguished 30-year career at IBM, where he served in a variety of legal and executive management positions in the U.S. and Asia Pacific. Please give a warm welcome to Neil Horikoshi, escorted by Stacy Lewis, the Director of Development at the organization.
Good evening, everyone, and I want to applaud Sachi, Koto, and everyone at the WWAAC Awards for the 12th annual WWAAC Awards, and we are so delighted to be a sponsor for Sachi and everyone here tonight. So thank you, Lang, and we're very pleased to present to you Pauline Ho, 2016-2017 API-ASF Foundation, and 2013-2014 API-ASF Wells Fargo Scholar. Pauline embodies the mission of API-ASF and our commitment to supporting the Asian American and Pacific Islander community through education. Pauline has drawn from her own personal experiences as an immigrant and English language learner to increase access to higher education for youth in her community. Since her freshman year in college, Pauline has regularly visited her former high school to teach rising students about college, leadership, and scholarship. On top of this, each summer, Pauline provides free college application consultation services to students in the San Gabriel Valley area and has personally mentored 10 immigrant students over the past 2 years. With this assistance, her mentees have gained access to four-year institutions across California. Pauline graduated from the University of California, Irvine, with the 2017 Chancellor's Award for Distinction. And in her time at UC Irvine, Pauline took the initiative to conduct research projects focusing on English language learner students and their academic learning. Today, Pauline has taken that passion and drive to the University of Wisconsin-Madison, where she is pursuing a PhD in educational psychology, so that she continue both research and collaboration with communities to better serve English language learner students. So, tonight's API-ASF honoree is truly an inspirational scholar and a model for what it means to be an API-ASF alumni. So let's take a more detailed look into Pauline Ho's accomplishments.
Pauline Ho was born and raised in a rural town in Vietnam, but at the age of 12, she and her family were uprooted and moved to the U.S. Her parents made that sacrifice, hoping that Pauline and her brother could have a better education here in the States. Being in major debt, they experienced various financial and personal challenges. Pauline recalls a time when her family of 4 lived in one small room and slept together in one bed. Along with financial difficulties, Pauline also suffered because she had only studied English for just 2 hours before coming to the U.S. and therefore struggled with classes, eventually becoming isolated from her classmates. But with dedication and perseverance, Pauline developed a way to face her fear and struggles by challenging herself to achieve higher goals. Not only did she learn English, she also became fluent in Cantonese and Mandarin, in addition to her native language, Vietnamese. With the encouragement and support of her family and teachers, Pauline gained admission to the University of California, Irvine. As a member of a low-income family, Pauline proactively took steps to support herself by receiving various scholarships to fund her undergraduate study, both at the national and local levels. She was awarded an APIA-SF scholarship twice during her undergraduate career because of her dedication to academic success and community service work. Pauline became the first person in her family to attend college, but the transition was difficult as she tried to manage her financial situation, academic studies, and her grandmother's Alzheimer's disease. Being overwhelmed, she suffered from a bout of depression and took a break away from school. During that time, she found her passion in serving others by volunteering in a senior home and teaching English to other immigrants. Pauline recently graduated cum laude from UC Irvine with a double major in education sciences and social policy and public service. She has received a number of academic honors, including the AERA 2017 Undergraduate Fellow, National Science Foundation GRFP Honorable Mention, and UCI's 2017 Chancellor's Award of Distinction. In addition to her academic achievements, Pauline has held several leadership and research roles during her 4 years at UCI and co-founded 2 student organizations. Pauline will be starting her doctoral degree in educational psychology at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Her research focuses on examining factors that influence underrepresented groups' educational aspirations and persistence. Pauline says she is dedicated to using her knowledge and research to fulfill her God-given dream to encourage and support the next generations to dream big, soar like an eagle, and live life to the fullest. Congratulations to Pauline Ho for the APIA-SF Leaders and Legends Award.
First and foremost, I want to thank God for His grace. Without Him, I wouldn't be standing here today. Next, many thanks to the WWAAC agencies and Sachi Koto for organizing this amazing event. Thank you to the APIA-SF Scholarship for selecting me as the honoree this year. A special thanks to my family, mentor, friend, and church family for their support along the way. I'm beyond humble and honored to stand here today and be recognized with other honorees in the room. Receiving the WWAAC Award means much more to me than just a recognition. The WWAAC Aliens mission is not just to recognize successful Asian Americans, but also to disseminate important information about the needs and concerns of Asian Americans. When describing Asian American, we often hear the word so smart, so successful. Indeed, we are portrayed as the model minority. As a result, Asian American students are often overlooked and underserved in higher education. I have faced several challenges on my way through here, and I believe each of us here today has gone through some challenge as well. The support we receive from our mentor, friends, family matters. It is important for more people to know about the challenge that Asian American students face and work on it. Maybe what we do cannot make a big change in the world, but lending a helping hand to the community we are in can definitely change a life. And a true example of that is me. Thank you.
Our next Asian entertainment will be performed by Hansini Mayani. She's a rising junior high school student who started learning the violin at the age of 3.
Wow.
Oh yes, she is an old pro with
Amazing.
this. Yeah, by age 7, she was already playing with the Georgia Symphony Youth Orchestra's Symphonia group.
At the age of 8, she was invited to play with the Philharmonia, the second highest level of the Georgia Symphony Youth Orchestra. She also performed at New York's Heritage Music Festival and was recognized as an honors performer.
And that is not all. Now, recently, out of a pool of 12,000 nominations, Hansini was selected as one of 150 to perform at the Sydney Opera House. She will be accompanied on the piano by April Pettis, who's been Hansini's instructor for over a decade, a dynamic duo for sure. Please welcome Hansini Mayani and April Pettis as they perform Intermezzo Sinfonico.
Stay with us. In our upcoming segment, we'll celebrate PPOMS, the Pan-Pacific American Leaders and Mentors honoree, who was President Obama's appointee at the White House. This portion of the 12th Annual WWAAC Awards has been brought to you by the APIASF, the Asian and Pacific Islander American Scholarship Fund.
Views are standard with every window seat. Add the ability to access a view from every seat, and suddenly the standard is not so standard anymore.
This portion of the 12th Annual WWAAC Awards is presented by PPOM, the Pan-Pacific American Leaders and Mentors Organization.
It is such an honor to have members of diplomatic corps with us this evening. I am privileged to introduce you to the Consul General of Japan, Takashi Shinozuka. He majored in law and political science at the University of Tokyo and speaks English and French. The Consul General previously served as a Vice Grand Master of Ceremony in the Imperial Household Agency. He also held director-level posts in the Cabinet Office, in the National Institute of Research Advancement, and in the Economic Affairs Bureau of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. In addition, he served abroad in France and Myanmar. The Consul General heads up Japan's diplomatic and economic relations with Georgia, Alabama, North Carolina, and South Carolina, where there are more than 1,300 Japan-related businesses located here. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Consul General Takashi Shinozuka.
Thank you for that warm welcome, Lang-san, and good evening, everyone. It is an honor to be with you this evening and celebrate this year's WWAAC Award recipients. Your recognition is particularly relevant as the number of Asians continue to grow in the United States. America's strength lies in its diversity, and you are an important component of that diversity. Along with this growth, has come an increase in Asian American leadership in the community. Each of the honorees tonight have exemplified that leadership, becoming our role models for success while increasing the vibrancy of the Asian American community and at the same time strengthening America's overall partnership with Asia. I would like to commend the WWAAC Alliance Foundation for its work in recognizing the honorees and their achievements. WWAAC allows us to see the faces of real leadership and to learn from the examples of others. Congratulations again to this year's WWAAC honorees. Thank you.
The WWAAC Awards are very privileged to partner with PPALM, the Pan-Pacific American Leaders and Mentors Organization. PPALM is made up of a professional network of Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders, military and civilian, who are all committed to serving the nation by providing leadership, education, mentoring, and fellowship opportunities. Let's take a quick look at the mission and values behind PPALM.
The PPALM Mentorship Program connects mentees with experienced professionals who have achieved personal, professional, and career success. Mentors provide advice, encouragement, feedback, and guidance towards achieving a mentee's full potential. A unique feature of the PPALM Mentorship Program is that its members provide realistic, comprehensive, and often real-time assessments of career fields and assist mentees in investigating and understanding those careers. PPALM actively recruits qualified mentors from within its membership to participate in the mentorship program.
I believe that being a mentor is one of the best investments you can make in helping others have a brighter future. It's what we as leaders do. It's our responsibility as leaders. And mentoring leads to a lifelong relationship between a mentor and a mentee in experiencing leadership and success. And all you have to do is offer your leadership skills and experience. Just listen.
To have Colonel Paul Shelton, who is representing PPALM with us this evening. The Colonel is now retired from U.S. Army, but spent 33 years of service in the U.S. Army plants, operations, and logistics senior leader. He now serves as a PPALM Vice President for Mentoring. Please give a warm welcome to Colonel Paul Shelton.
PPALM is made up of military and civilian professionals and college students committed to mentoring and promoting professional development, retention, and advancement of the Asian American and Pacific Islander leaders in the active, reserve, National Guard, Department of Defense civilians and other federal agencies, and in the private sector. Mentoring is a primary mission and core value of PPALM. We want to capitalize on the wisdom and insights of role models and experienced individuals who are committed to the leadership development and success of our members and associates. PPALM's mentoring program is one of many tools in our toolkit to develop a member's leadership acumen. This year, PPALM's WWAAC honoree is Ms. Daphne Kwok, AARP's Vice President for Multicultural Markets and Engagement. Daphne is a renowned leader who actively advocated for the AAPI community in political, economic, and social spheres, and for over 20 years. During that time, she worked with a number of national Asian organizations of Chinese Americans and their 10,000 members, ensuring the representation of Chinese American interests at the state level. At the national level, beginning with the Asian Pacific American Institute for Congressional Studies, she focused on increasing political leadership of the AAPI community by engaging with elected officials and at the local level and with members of Congress. Daphne also served at the Angel Island Immigration Station, assisting in preserving Angel Island's immigration station and its role in shaping America's history. At the Asians and Pacific Islanders with Disabilities of California, she provided a strong voice to break down the stigma of disabled citizens in the AAPI community by providing technical assistance and other services. In July 2010, President Obama appointed Daphne as chair of the President's Advisory Commission on Asian American and Pacific Islanders. As chair, she led the commission in advancing health, social, economic, and political critical issues of AAPIs at the national level. Today, her most important work as AARP's Vice President for Multicultural Markets and Engagement focused principally on individuals over 50. That means most, if not all of us assembled here tonight and across the country are impacted by health, social, and economic issues that Daphne addresses every day. We are the centerpiece of her portfolio. I will let her describe this high level of work in providing extensive services and products to empower the over 50 population in living healthy and productive lives and general well-being. Of note, as a graduate of Wesleyan University, she is the first Asian American to serve on its board of trustees. Unquestionably, Daphne has continued to represent and lead the AAPI community through distinguished service and high honor. As you view the following video, you'll understand more clearly why the PPALM board unanimously selected Ms. Daphne Kwok as the 2017 PPALM Leaders and Legends Award honoree. Ladies and gentlemen, have a look at this video of a great American.
Daphne Kwok grew up inside the D.C. Beltway with her two younger brothers. Her parents were immigrants from China, coming to the U.S. seeking a higher education. Daphne and her two brothers were always the only Asian American students in their school, and one of a handful of students of color throughout her school years. The Kwok children were very close and raised thoroughly in Chinese values and customs. Daphne describes herself as truly Chinese American, being able to take the best of both cultures, backgrounds, and values. Music was a central focus of their extracurricular activities, primarily in violin. Daphne admits that she grew up in a very privileged world with private schools and private music lessons. Unlike other Chinese immigrant parents, Daphne's were very progressive and also extremely non-traditional. Her parents were socially active and very engaged in the community. Daphne says her parents didn't steer or force the children into any field of study or work, perhaps knowing they were clearly not destined for math or sciences. Daphne was thrilled to attend Wesleyan University in Connecticut and discover other Asian classmates. For the first time, she became involved with Asian American student organizations. After college, she returned to D.C. and eventually became the executive director of the OCA, or Organization of Chinese Americans. She also joined the few Asian American Pacific Islander, or API, organizations in D.C. While serving 11 years as executive director of the OCA, she realized even more that APIs had no voice in D.C. Later, she became heavily involved in Democratic Party politics, working to increase Asians not only to register to vote, but to vote Democratic. She worked with a few Asian members of Congress at that time, specifically Senator Daniel Inouye, Congressman Bob Matsui, Congresswoman Patsy Mink, and Congressman Norman Mineta, all Democrats. Daphne also served as Executive Director of the Asian Pacific American Institute for Congressional Studies and as the Executive Director of the Angel Island Immigration Station Foundation in San Francisco. In 2010, Daphne was appointed by President Obama to serve as chair of President Obama's Advisory Commission on Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. She also served as the Executive Director of Asians and Pacific Islanders with Disabilities of California for 5 years. Today, Daphne leads the AARP's outreach to Asian Americans 50 and over as Vice President of Multicultural Leadership. She also serves as the Wesleyan Trustee Emeritus as the first OPI trustee. Daphne says her work has been her passion and credits her parents for being the cheerleaders in supporting her efforts. She says they allowed her to be who she wants to be without being forced to be someone else. Congratulations to Daphne Kwok with the 2017 P. Palm Leaders and Legends Award.
Good evening. What an honor to be here tonight with all my fellow honorees, especially a woman I admire at the top of corporate America, and a Suzuki mom as well, Miss Susan Jin Davis. And to be here among the Filipino-American vets who are about to receive a Congressional Gold Medal, who are being led by my hero and mentor, General Tony Taguba, it is truly an honor. And also thank you, and also congratulations to Pauline Ho. Thank you to PPALM, one of our AARP partners, for selecting me as your honoree. And thank you, Colonel Shelton, for the very generous introduction. To Sachi Koto, you made me a news junkie. Watching a confident Asian American woman in the anchor chair was truly something spectacular. When I showed my parents the list of previous honorees, their first reaction was, "They're all your friends." And I said, "That's right, they are all my friends." I'm so glad they were able to be here tonight. My mother, thank goodness their New England cruise was sold out, so they couldn't go to New England, so that she's able to be with me here tonight. My parents are my role models for volunteer service and community service. And I humbly accept tonight's award in hopes that my story can inspire somebody out there to think that if Daphne can start off as a very, very quiet and shy Chinese American and can end up meeting with presidents of the United States to talk about immigration reform or welfare reform on behalf of Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders, then hopefully someone out there too will say, I too can make a difference by speaking up and speaking out. It's amazing when the AAPI community is under fire and is under assault, and you happen to be the only AAPI at the table, your courage and the chutzpah and the boldness somehow just come out. One can never pass on the rare opportunities to educate, persuade, and advocate for the Asian American and Pacific Islander community. In today's America, AAPIs must work with African Americans, Hispanic Latinos, Native Americans, the LGBTQ, and people with disabilities, and Native American community, and women as well, to protect all of our rights that are under assault every single day. I thank you so much for this WWAAC award, and I'm truly honored to be here tonight. Thank you so much.
Coming up in our next segment, don't let her cute, punky hair fool you. This honoree is one tough attorney. This portion of the 12th Annual WWAAC Awards has been brought to you by PPOM, the Pan-Pacific American Leaders and Mentors Organization.
让我们分享你的梦想，
分担你的烦恼，
我们知道你不甘心，不罢休，
决心做得更好。
让我们看看你的草稿，你的宏图，让我们携手努力，
携手努力，使你距离目标更进一步。把你的老问题、新想法
和你的全球计划交给我们，因为 UPS 不只是一家快递公司，
我们联合全球网络的力量，
以先进物流
为你出谋献策。
40万人遍布220多个国家和地区，
联合一致，为你的事业成就更多可能，
助力中国制造更优更强，有联合。是进程。
The call to serve. It has no sound, yet I have heard it in the whispered retelling of honorable sacrifices made by those who have served before me. The call to serve has no form, yet I have clearly seen it in the eyes of men and women infinitely more courageous and more driven than most. The call to serve has no weight, yet I have held it in my hands. I will commit to carry it close to my heart until my country is safe and the anguish of those less fortunate has been soothed. The call to serve is at once invisible and always, and for those who choose to answer the call, for their country, for their fellow man, for themselves, it is the most powerful force on earth. America's Navy, a global force for good. To answer the call, go to Navy.com or call USA Navy.
This portion of the 12th Annual WWAAC Awards is presented by Comcast NBC Universal.
It's a pleasure to be here and celebrate with you tonight. As Lang mentioned, we've been a sponsor and a broadcasting partner with the WWAAC Awards since 2011. Let me take a moment to show you a quick look at the many ways you can view our programming at Comcast NBC Universal.
Whether you want your heart to race with a dramatic story
or to pound with an exciting thriller. You can get all of your favorite films, shows, and more with Xfinity X1. Just say international and it's right there, all in one place. Change the way you experience TV. Xfinity, the future of awesome.
I now have the pleasure of introducing two special ladies. Stacy Colbell is the Director of Government and Community Affairs with the Central Division for Comcast Cable Communications. And Lang Chansey is the Vice President of Quality Care for Children and serves on the WWAAC Alliance Board. Let's give a warm welcome to Stacy Cole and Lang Chansey.
Good evening. We really appreciate the partnership with Comcast NBC Universal. It allows the WWAAC Awards to hold the title as the only Asian awards program televised across the nation. And we are here tonight to honor a special and talented member of your staff, Stacy.
That's right, Ling. When you meet our honoree, Susan Jen Davis, you'll certainly be dazzled by her vivacious, fun-loving character. And if you have the privilege of working with her, you'll agree that she's one of the most powerful women in cable. Let me show you a video that best describes.
Susan Jen Davis is Korean American, but with her maiden name of Davis, it's not always so obvious. Her father, Bok Nam, was originally adopted by the Davis family, and hence the last name for the Asian family. Being extremely family-oriented, Susan spent a lot of time with her parents, Bok Nam and Minja Jin Davis, and her daughter, Sophia Jin Malatesta. Noted for her signature punk, iconic hair, Susan's friends describe her athleticism as zany, spunky, fun-loving, and free-spirited. However, on the job with over 25 years of experience in the communications and technology industry, Susan is one tough attorney. In her current position, she is the Chief Sustainability Officer at Comcast Corporation and formerly the Senior Vice President of Operations Compliance for Comcast. Back in 2011, Susan negotiated an historic Memorandum of Understanding between Comcast and the Asian American community as part of the company's merger with NBC Universal. She currently serves on Comcast Internal Diversity Council and is the liaison to the Comcast and NBC Universal Joint Diversity Council. She's also an executive sponsor of Asian Pacific Americans at Comcast. In 2011, Susan was responsible for launching Comcast's Internet Essentials program and leads the company's Online Safety Advisory Council. Susan has completed the Women in Cable Telecommunications Senior Executive Summit at Stanford University, the Women's Executive Leadership Program at the Wharton School of Business, CTAM's Executive Management Program at Harvard, and was a fellow in the Betsy Magnus Leadership Institute of the Women in Cable Telecommunications. Susan's received numerous awards, including the 2010 Paragon Award of the National Association of Multi-Ethnicity in Cable, was named one of the most powerful women in cable by CableFax, and one of the top 50 most influential minorities in cable by Cable World. She serves as the chair of the board of the Asian Pacific American Institute for Congressional Studies and is a director on the boards of the APIASF, the Asian Pacific Islander American Chamber of Commerce and Entrepreneurship, and the Juvenile Law Center. Congratulations to Susan Jin Davis for the 2017 WWAAC Leaders and Legends Award.
Susan, on behalf of our entire board, I would like to present you with the 2017 WWAAC Leaders and Legends Awards. Congratulations.
Wow, what an honor. I had the pleasure of getting an award a few years ago, and I told my friend, who is also a senior woman executive, that I was embarrassed by the attention. She said to me, embarrassed is when your skirt falls off when you're coming off of an airplane. This is wonderful. Well, I guess I'm not embarrassed. And this is indeed wonderful. I want to begin by thanking Sachi Koto for all of her amazing work for and deep and abiding commitment to the community. The work that WWAAC is doing to create opportunities for AAPIs and to increase awareness about the issues that matter to our community is invaluable. It is my honor to be on the stage with other honorees like my good friend Daphne, and for those who have been honored in the past. I am among giants, my role models, my idols. I'm deeply in awe. Let's not forget that Sachi is a trailblazer in media and communications, one of the first prominent AAPIs on air. She undoubtedly launched the careers of so many young AAPIs who just wanted to be like her. But not satisfied with just being a pioneer, Sachi co-founded WWAAC to promote awareness about our communities and to bring our voice to the forefront of the debates and conversations of the day. And I'm thankful to my company, Comcast NBC Universal, because I would not be here tonight were it not for the many opportunities I've been given to succeed at the company. Comcast NBCU's commitment to social responsibility, diversity and inclusion, community investment, and now sustainability has been inspiring to me. Now, it's important that we're here tonight and that we be engaged in our community. We need to have a presence. We need our voice to be heard now more than ever. At a time when there is an increase in anti-immigrant rhetoric and actions, when we continue to be asked, where are you from, because we're not seen as being from here and couldn't possibly be American, when we continue to seek representation, we need to come together. We need to celebrate our accomplishments and have moments of unity like this. It's also important to spotlight our accomplishments and contributions for those that come behind us, especially the young people. After all, you can't be what you can't see. Early in my career, I had to have a very active imagination to envision that someone like me, a child of immigrants whose parents had no roots here, who had no connections, who had no inside way in, could actually make it in corporate America because there were no executives who looked like me. I was thrilled to see 2 Asian Americans win Emmy Awards this past week, because it's not often enough that we see our own commended so prominently for a job well done. Riz Ahmed was the first man of Asian descent and the first Muslim to win a Best Actor Emmy. The first. Little brown girls and boys everywhere scored a victory last Sunday when they saw Riz and Aziz Ansari awarded on an international stage, saying to themselves, that could be me. It matters. Our young people need to see people like themselves in all walks of life and leadership so that they can not only dream of it, but see it. And we need to make those dreams into reality. Our mere presence isn't enough. We have to actively work for diversity and inclusion every day in every way. The world needs to see us too. We make contributions to every aspect of life in America. We are all shades. We are all heritages. We speak many languages and English. We worship different ways. We make and eat all sorts of food. And we are as American as apple pie, hot dogs, and baseball. It's through shattering these stereotypes that we become seen and heard for who we are and what we deserve. We belong here. This is our country too. We've made this country great. Thank you so much for this tremendous honor, and congratulations to all the other worthy honorees. I remain your faithful servant.
Now, when we say backed by popular demand, we really mean it. We've had the privilege of having 16-year-old Yanni Tan perform at WWAAC several times now, and we continue to get requests from viewers to get her back, and you'll soon see why.
All right, Yanni began studying piano at the age of 4, and by the age of 10, she won the first prize of the 2010 Merrill Calhoun Prodigy Award. She then became grand prize winner at the American Prodigy Competition and the National Young Artist Showcase Competition in 2011 and 2012.
Yanni won first place in 2013, 2014, also 2015 in the MTNA state competition, then first place in the MTNA in 2016, National Junior Piano Performance Competition, and the Best Chopin Performance Award. She has won multiple national and international competitions. Yanni was also the winner of the 2016 GMTA Concerto competition.
Yanni also won the 2016 International Piano Festival in Italy, the 2016 National Young Virtuosi Recital Competition, 2017 Emory Young Artist Piano Competition, the AMC 2017 Scholarship Competition, the 2017 Marilyn Carwell Piano Award, and the 2017 Arthur Fraser International Piano Competition.
Can you believe she's
Wow,
only 16?
What an
Yeah.
accomplishment.
Yeah, for sure. Yanni has performed at Carnegie Hall not just once, but twice, and has initiated many benefit piano solo concerts to help children with cancer. She's given performances throughout the US, Spain, France, and Italy.
Yanni is an avid environmentalist and passionate about conserving nature. Tonight, she will perform a piece called Un Sospiro, with a background she selects as beautiful scenes of nature to promote environmental conservation through the beauty of music. So, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and welcome the incredible Yanni Tan.
Coming up in our next segment, we'll honor Filipino World War II veterans with an award of service, sacrifice, and patriotism. This portion of the 12th Annual WWAAC Awards was presented by Comcast NBC Universal.
Georgia State's Rialto Center for the Arts, where Atlanta meets the world, presents the Rialto series featuring Pharoah Sanders, Ailey 2, Lisa Fisher, Tango Fire, the Afro-Cuban All-Stars, Ava Yerbabuena Flamenco, Larry Harlow and the Latin Legends Band, and more. Free parking is available for all Rialto series events. Get your tickets now at rialto.gsu.edu or call 404-413-9849.
Can you stop copying me?
Looking for a total smile transformation at affordable prices? Let Dr. Steve Hahn boost your self-esteem and give you back your self-confidence by replacing missing teeth or restoring embarrassing, unsightly teeth with dental implants. And for faster healing of periodontal disease with no incisions, minimal downtime, and little discomfort. We are one of the few dental offices that have the newest, groundbreaking, FDA-approved LANAP laser periodontal gum therapy treatment. Patients insist on traveling from all over the country for Dr. Hahn's comprehensive cosmetic dentistry. Don't trust your implants and dental health to just any dentist. Rely with confidence on Ivy League-trained Dr. Steve Hahn. Call 770-926-2784 for a free consultation. The Georgia Dental Implant Center and Gentle Dental Care, a proud partner of the Atlanta Braves. This portion of the 12th Annual WWAAC Awards is presented by General Motors.
We have mentioned several times during the WWAAC Award tonight just how fortunate we are to have our generous sponsor like General Motors. Anand Janakiram, the Senior IT Operations Manager from GM, is with us this evening. He's accompanied by 11-year-old Daniel Liu, a 6th grader at Kittredge Magnet School. Daniel loves basketball, the color blue, and is a whiz at computers and creating videos. Please give a warm welcome to Anna Janakiram and Daniel Liu.
Hello everyone, good evening. At General Motors, we make the best vehicles, and the best vehicles has never been good enough. Our goal has always been to make the world a better place, whether that means helping explore uncharted reaches of space or improving someone's quality of life. GM has a long-standing tradition partnering with other leaders in engineering and innovation to make this vision a reality. Let's take a look at our partnership with NASA.
Houston, you might want to come on board on the Node 2 camera.
We're on the Node 2 camera station, and somebody walking around up there?
Well, nobody's walking, but we have something we think you should see.
Go ahead, follow.
Houston, Huntsville, do you see what we see?
General Motors and NASA have a long history working together. In collaboration, we contributed to the lunar rover and other technologies that would allow us to better explore space. Both groups share the same vision of having robots and humans working together to complete tasks that are difficult, dirty, and dangerous. And the use of robots allows us to be able to solve those problems.
Actually a fascinating partnership, NASA and GM. It's a real good opportunity to understand the interface between humans and robotics.
General Motors put together a team of people to work side by side with the NASA engineers to begin the development on what would become the Robonaut 2, the world's greatest humanoid robot.
I'd like to introduce you to the newest member of our crew. This is Robonaut 2, and we're happy to have him aboard.
From the Robonaut came the RoboGlove. And the RoboGlove was really designed to be able to help provide more grasp strength without the risk of ergonomic injury. Our goal was to improve the safety of the operator on the factory floor, but also be able to use it for biomedical applications, for people that have disabilities and difficulties grasping objects. Eventually, it became clear that the things we accomplished with NASA had broader implications across other industries. We started applying what we learned to improve vehicle and workplace safety. At General Motors, we're always exploring partnerships that affect positive change in the world today.
Thank you. General Motors is also sponsoring a new program called LIFT, Leaders Innovating Future and Technology. It's a contest open to Southeast Asian middle and high school students in the Atlanta area. The GM contest is aimed at helping these students to get interested in STEM studies. LIFT award winners will receive scholarship presented by API-ASF, Asian Pacific Islander American Scholarship Fund, and honored at the next year's WWAAC Awards. My buddy, Daniel Liu, is very creative and has got a special video about the LIFT contest.
That's right, folks. Please watch my video. Why am I even watching this? What is this video even about? What is this video about? This video is about the General Motors Lift Contest. Who can participate? Southeast Asians, middle and high school students. What do you need to do? What do you need to do for the contest? Well, you can send us a proposal about future mobility or a STEM project. Also, LIFT winners are honored and get scholarships, so apply now. When do you need to send your proposals? Well, you can send your proposals by November 1st. Bye!
You guys, this is the future, of not only Georgia, but America. Daniel, thank you so much for your talents, and we want to present you with the WWAAC Video Creator Award. Congratulations, and thank you so much for your creativity.
In the next portion of the WWAAC Awards, we will be honoring and paying special tribute to World War II Filipino veterans whose service and sacrifice have been finally recognized by the U.S. With the passage last year of the Filipino Veterans of World War II Congressional Gold Medal Act of 2015, Tony Daya Luca will kick off our tribute. Tony was a very successful singer in her native Philippines and found the Gayling Foundation to help indigenous children in her native country. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to Tony Daya Luca.
Thank you, Lang. Tonight we present to you Atin Yan Musikahan, a Filipino-American choral group who will perform a very special number they have prepared for the Filipino veterans tonight. As we pay tribute to our veterans for their gallantry and the selflessness in risking their lives for the sake of peace, let us not forget that heroes are not only made on battlefields or during specific episodes of any country's history. Heroes are made each day. Each time anyone makes a sacrifice and puts his or her country's interest before everything to defend and uplift the dignity of one's nation, maintain long-lasting peace, and help make the world a much better place to live in. Our song tonight reminds us an altruistic act is not just a personal success or victory, but the success and victory of an entire nation, just like the noble sacrifices of our distinguished Filipino veterans. Please welcome the Atin Yan Musikahan choral group as they perform a Tagalog composition called Tagumpay Nating Lahat, translated in English as Our Success.
Kung saan man
Wasn't that a beautiful performance? Let's give them another round of applause. Tonight is such a special night because we are honoring World War II veterans. And, you know, as a reporter, I've met many veterans throughout my career, and it's always such a touching moment when you realize the sacrifices that they've made on behalf of all of us. This evening, we are honoring those veterans, and I'd like to introduce the Philippine Honorary Consul General Ray Donato and Brian Ramos of the Ramos Law Firm in Atlanta. Please welcome the two of them.
The Congressional Gold Medal is one of the highest civilian awards bestowed by the United States for persons or groups who have performed an achievement that have an impact on American history and culture. American citizenship is not required.
In particular, this award is a public expression of the United States Congress' gratitude on behalf of the nation for the distinguished contributions of 260,000 Filipino soldiers and guerrillas during World War II in the Philippines. Let's take a look at the background of sacrifice and loyalty of the World War II Filipino veterans and the background work of what it took to get the Congressional Gold Medal for these deserving soldiers.
With the winds of war blowing in the Pacific, President Roosevelt uses his constitutional authority on July 26, 1941, and orders into service of the United States all of the organized military forces of the Philippines. Less than 24 hours after the attack on Pearl Harbor, the Japanese invade the Philippines.
An order came through the radio to the effect that all Army people, whether they are in the active or reserve service, have to report for duty. Every Filipino who went to the war was made to understand that we were fighting not only for our country, but also for the American people.
Combined Filipino-American forces put up a gallant, delaying defense on the Bataan Peninsula. Finally, out of ammunition and food, the defenders surrendered to the Japanese. 66,000 Filipinos and 12,000 Americans are forced to march 70 miles to their prison camp in what would become known as the Death March.
Many times I feel faint because probably of hunger, because of heat. And so a friend of mine, or the one beside me, sometimes I didn't know who he was, and he would help me walk. In my prayers, I always pray that I'd be strong enough so that I could reach the destination.
The casualties during this one-week march without food or water are staggering. Nearly 700 Americans and close to 10,000 Filipinos perish. After Bataan falls, remaining Phil-Am forces numbering 13,000 gather on the island fortress of Corregidor to wage a final battle. Overwhelming Japanese forces put an end to heroic but doomed defense. 1,800 are killed or wounded, and the remaining 11,000 are paraded through the streets of Manila before being parceled out to various POW camps in the Philippines. The sum total of Filipino and American POWs is over 72,000, including troops in the Bataan Death March and those later captured at Corregidor and other areas in the Philippine archipelago. Among the Allied nations, the Philippines is second only to Poland in terms of total war destruction. In the Allied fight against fascism, nearly 60,000 Filipinos were killed in action, thousands more were wounded for life, and hundreds were classified as missing in action. The civilian casualties were devastating, with loss of life estimated at nearly 1 million. At this great cost, the country was liberated and democracy restored. At the end of the war, President Truman reluctantly signed the 1946 Rescission Act, stripping Filipino veterans, those who were left out of the U.S. Army list of soldiers and guerrillas, of all the veterans' benefits guaranteed by President Roosevelt in 1941. Of the 66 nationalities that fought on behalf of the United States, only those from the Philippines were denied benefits. Despite the humiliation and injustice suffered through all these years, these veterans remain steadfastly stalwart in their loyalty and dedication to the United States. They maintain their belief that someday they will be recognized for accomplishing their mission. Filipino soldiers of World War II fought and died for the same reasons American soldiers did: the preservation of democracy and freedom around the world. In many instances, fought together under the same commander. But it is vital to remember that they were not just fighting for their homeland. They were defending, protecting, and ultimately liberating sovereign territory held by the United States of America. Throughout the entire course of World War II, the Philippines remained a territory of the United States. Although we cannot undo the injustices of the past, the awarding of the Congressional Gold Medal to these deserving veterans will go a long way towards honoring the sentiments voiced by President Truman in 1946. The record of the Philippine soldiers for bravery and loyalty is second to none. Their assignment was as bloody and difficult as any in which our American soldiers engaged. Under desperate circumstances, they acquitted themselves honorably. It is the purpose of the United States to do justice to these veterans.
The Filipino Veterans Recognition and Educational Project, PhilVetRep, the proponent of Congressional Gold Medal legislation, and the official national point of contact for all related activities, is led by Major General Antonio Taguba, a former WWAAC honoree, and his executive team composed of Marie Blanco, Eric Soriano, John Malagrito, and Ben de Guzman. Due to the pressing engagement, General Taguba is not able to attend this evening and send his sincerest regrets. But the Executive Director for Communication, Outreach, and Fundraising is with us tonight. Please welcome Ben de Guzman.
Good evening. On behalf of Major General Tony Taguba and the Filipino Veterans Recognition and Education Project, as well as the veterans we all serve, I'm honored to be here tonight to speak to you about the important work to give our veterans the appreciation and recognition they deserve. PhilVetRep is a national nonprofit organization specifically founded to ensure the lasting legacy of these veterans. We ran the legislative campaign that secured passage of Public Law 114265, the Filipino Veterans of World War II Congressional Gold Medal Act, and we now serve as the official liaison to lawmakers and federal agencies on all of the matters related to this historic legislation. Thank you.
Now, final preparations are being made for the formal award of the presentation of the medal to the Filipino World War II veterans by House Speaker Paul Ryan in October on Capitol Hill. Surviving Filipino and American veterans or their next of kin will receive their bronze replicas of the Congressional Gold Medal and a framed copy of Public Law 11265.
Tonight, we are extremely fortunate to have Filipino veteran World War II, Anesito Ilanga Bagley, with us this evening. He will be accepting the 2017 WWAAC Spirit of Service, Sacrifice, and Patriotism Award on behalf of all the World War II Filipino soldiers who fought so bravely and loyally during World War II. His daughter, Shirley Bagley, is also with him. Let us now honor World War II Filipino veteran Aniceto Ilanga Bagley and show him our thanks and gratitude.
Brian Ramos invited me to this affair this evening. The WWAAC or AAC put on a very impressive program, and it's not over yet. I'm glad also to be here to represent the remaining Filipino guerrillas from Second World War. And happily, I'm still on the right side of the turf. Thank you.
Wasn't that wonderful? We have a special fashion treat for our audience tonight by the Chinese American Cultural Performing Group. Their Chinese Dynasty costume show is truly a first of its kind here in the South. Most of their models are professional Chinese artists who came from different regions of Asia, such as mainland China, Taiwan, and Hong Kong.
The Dynasty Costume Show will cover 5,000 years of Chinese history. It will showcase some of the major dynasties up to the modern era of China.
Now, their goal is to give audiences an educational and one-of-a-kind show while promoting peace and harmony to the community and to mainstream America. The costume show was written and produced by Sylvia Sham, and the announcer is Ray Ng. Please welcome the Chinese Dynasty Costume Show.
Qin Dynasty. Qin Dynasty was very short. It was from 221 to 206 BC. It is believed that the Western name for China is most likely derived from the word Qin. Chen Xi Huangdi means the Qin's first emperor. He was admired and cherished as a unifier, a centralizer, an architect of the Great Wall and of China herself. However, the first emperor was also feared and hated as a tyrant, a book burner, and a mass murderer. Our models in front of you are dressed as the first emperor and empress of Qin. Spring and autumn period, from 476 BC to 221 BC. Cixi is the first of the four greatest beauty of the Chinese history. Legend says that one day when she was leaning over a balcony to look at the fish in the pond, the fish were so dazzled by her beauty that they forgot to swim and sunk below the surface. This is how Cixi acquired the nickname of Fish Sinking Beauty. Han Dynasty. Han Dynasty was from the era of 206 BC to 220 AD. Han Dynasty was one of the longest dynasties and considered to be the golden age of Chinese history, especially in arts, politics, and technology. Emperor Liu Bang was the founder and first emperor of Han Dynasty. He was also one of the few dynasty founders in Chinese history with a humble origin from the peasant class. Qiao Feiyuan was an empress during the Han Dynasty. She was known in the Chinese folklore for her beauty. She was famous by her special talents in singing and dancing. She was also known for her slender figure and her ability to dance on the metal plates carried by her co-dancers. Sima Qian was a scholar and a great historian during the Han Dynasty. Sima Qian was the author of the book Records of the Grand Historian, which is the China's first book on the history of the world in a comprehensive and systematic manner. Although he is commonly referred to as a Chinese historian, he was also the grand astrologer at the court of Han Emperor. Wang Qiaojun was known as one of the four beauties of ancient China, with an extremely intelligent mind. To establish friendly relationship with the Xiongnu Empire, Wang was sent by the emperor to marry the nomadic tribe leader of Xiongnu. The legend said that when Wang Qiaojun left her hometown, riding on the saddle, she began to play a sad melody on a paper instrument. When a flock of geese saw the beautiful young woman on the horse, they immediately forgot to flap their wings and fell to the ground. From then on, Qiaojun acquired the nickname Eavesdropper, for her beauty would entice birds in flight fall from the sky. The Era of Three Kingdoms, 220 to 280 AD. Dao Can was another one of the four beauties in ancient China. The legend also said Dao Can at one point was praying to the moon goddess and causing the clouds suddenly covering the moonlight, and therefore Dao Can acquired the nickname Moon Eclipse Beauty. General Lu Bu was the most powerful military general warrior in all of Chinese history. He was a handsome and mighty warrior, wearing a pheasant tail helmet and wielding a ji known as the Sky Piercer. on top of his red fine horse. Lu Bu was a master on horseback riding and archery. He was also known as the Flying General. Tang Dynasty, 618 to 907 AD. Tang Dynasty is the second great dynasty in Chinese history. It is generally regarded as a high point in Chinese civilization. Yang Guifei was one of the few women whose beauty has caused the downfall of monarchs and nations. Yang was a beautiful girl from a blue blood family with matchless charm. She was talented in music and an excellent dancer. The legend said Yang Guifei had a face that put all flowers to shame, and she was named as the Flower Bashful Beauty. Wu Zetian was the queen of Empire Gaozong. She was the only female who ruled the empire for over half a century. She remains the most remarkable, influential, and mysterious woman in Chinese history. And after the Empire Gaozong's death, Empress Consort Wu established a new empire and officially named herself as the Empress Redmond. Song Dynasty from 960 to 1279 AD. The Song Dynasty was a time of consolidation for Chinese culture. The Song time is often called a Chinese Renaissance. Empress Wu was a commoner and married to Emperor of Song Dynasty. And Empress Wu had played an influential part in politics of the Song Dynasty. She is wearing an important ceremonial robe that was used for the major state ritual. Yun Dynasty, 1279 to 1368 AD. Yuan Dynasty was ruled by the Mongolian ethnic. The Mongols was the first non-Chinese origin ruler in Chinese history. This upper-class woman in Yuan Dynasty wears a red tunic with double band of gold seal embroidery, a design at the opening, sleeves, and hem. Also included is a silk buckram-based hat decorated with embroidery and gemstones. Ming Dynasty, 1368 to 1644 AD. In the Chinese legend, the fatherly god in the moonlight ties a red string around the ankles of the man and the woman who are supposed to be husband and wife someday. No matter how far they are, they will eventually get married. The bride was covered with a red veil over her head on the wedding day. When the groom removes the veil from the bride, they formally become husband and wife. It was also a custom for the bride and bridegroom to bow 3 times before entering the nuptial chamber. The first one was for heaven and earth. The second one was for their parents, and the third one for their spouse. The newlywed will drink wine from 2 cups tied together with a red string, arms crossed from each other. This is the formal wedding vow in Chinese culture. Qing Dynasty, from the era of 1644 to 1800 AD. Qing Dynasty was the last major dynasty of China, and it lasted nearly 300 years. The Guangxu Emperor was the 10th emperor of the Qing Dynasty. The Guangxu Emperor's reign lasted from 1875 to 1908. Qing concubine Zheng Fei was the favorite wife of the Emperor Guangxu and was granted the title Concubine Precious. Now let us pay attention to the unique shoes our presenters is wearing. Modern China, which is the People's Republic of China, It was founded in 1949. The qipao is also known as the Mandarin dress. The qipao costume was one of many influences of the Manchuan tradition.
An impressive costume show. One more round of applause, please. Thank you so much. And to all of our honorees this evening, we look up to you. You are our role models, and we're so very proud of you. To our generous sponsors, you keep our program going year after year. Thank you so much for your funding. And then a final thank you to our beloved and treasured volunteers. Without you, we could not do this. Thank you, everybody, for attending and watching, and we look forward to seeing you at the 13th Annual WWAAC Awards next year. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you.